Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in between two oceans. My name is Brian Engelman, and this is Blake Walley. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2024. Kamala is imploding. The Trump train is ascending. We're going to break it down on today's episode of the Agree to Disagree show. All right. Look at that, everybody. The awesome editing work, the videography and editing skills of our own Blake Walley, superstar. He is ready to put out a product for us covering the mission to North Carolina to help. It's really cool. It's right at the end, and we're very excited to show it to you. But Blake is awesome. If you want to hire him, send him a message. Blake, where do people follow you, by the way? Not just if they want to hire you to cover events and put some footage together, which you're very good at, but where do they find you instead of just being out on the campaign trail like in so many of those videos in the intro?
Well, thank you, Brian. Yes, enjoy these little projects and whatnot, and the field trips. Always good times. But yes, it's a lot of work doing all the production and editing and all that good stuff. So yes, we are so close. I was hoping to get this little North Carolina documentary out today. Still kind of working out a few of the final touches and details. So this might be pushed off till next week. We shall see. Maybe tomorrow.
It's a neat project. It tells the story. It shows a lot. It tells a lot. It's really neat. Looking forward to it. But tell people your socials on X and your website.
Yeah, TV's Blake Walley on Twitter, and the thenextlevelnews.com would be the archive for most of my work.
Excellent. All right. Well, we will check that out. Also, you did a show on Tuesday, Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barrow, right? That was
correct.
Excellent. Another show to check out. So follow Blake and see all of his wheelings and dealings. And he's for hire. If you want to go ahead and reach out to him in the greater Nashville area, he'll go cover your event and chop it together. You just got to pay the man. And it's worth it because he knows what he's doing. All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. Follow the New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show in all of the places, and leave your comments, please. Your comments make the show 100% better than it is without your comments. So without further delay, let's jump into what the main topic is. I mean, there's a lot of main topics, and there's a lot of, kind of where do you start? It's silly season, so we are seeing, wow, that is a tongue twister. It's silly season, so we're seeing a lot of October surprise accusations, Blake, but let's start with Kamala at the town hall. I guess that was an October surprise. What is she doing talking to the media, and why are the media not playing along? Walk us through how she won the town hall performance on CNN. Or would you disagree that she won the performance and won over voters?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree there. I am not a paid Democrat influencer. So, no, but I mean, even like the major talking heads watching this on the liberal side couldn't spin this much. So it was a disaster. I guess maybe you could call it an October surprise, in a way. It was a surprise for some. For us, I think we all kind of knew what Kamala was and why they've been trying to hide her. And yes, she's had actually, there's a couple of interviews today, but I mean, obviously, front and center is the disaster that was the town hall. And yeah, right.
She is so cringe. She is the worst. There is no universe where anybody would accept a Kamala stolen presidency. There is no universe that this would be accepted. There is zero chance of pulling a 2020 part 2. There is no chance. I know we said that with Biden, but like this is next level stuff, dude.
Yeah, we'll see, because they certainly got away with a lot of stuff in 2020. But I think, yeah, this time around, it's going to be far more difficult. But that doesn't mean we got to give up yet. So anybody that's out there, don't get
no
too
cruise control.
Confident.
Pedal to the metal. Talk to extra friends, extra coworkers. A couple of very polite, inquisitory conversations. Have you considered voting in this election? I would love to, if you want to go to the polls together, I'd love for you to vote how I'm voting. Like, come on, talk to some people, encourage as many people as you can. Like, all your communities need to be doing this. There is no off-ramp for the country if we don't get this under control in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I could agree with that, but then we still have a road to continue to inauguration, because people won't take it well, but maybe Kamala will be such a disaster and implode that people won't really care that much. They're not going to go, that they're not going to lobby that hard for her, even if she loses, because people will be like, yeah, she lost. Yeah, maybe they didn't want Trump, but I guess the 4 years that he was there wasn't that bad. So I don't know. I think they'll maybe find some way to deal with it, or I don't think they'll burn the country down for her.
No,
she's just not that good, and she's been exposed big time, especially in the last month. Her campaign has really unraveled spectacularly.
And you know what? It's funny because it's only unraveled by launching it. They hid for 2 months. That's all they did. They just hid. That's not like, oh, things are falling in the polls. It's like they didn't even start. They were terrified to start because they knew what would happen. I love the stories that are saying it was Kamala's cocaine at the White House. I don't know how verifiable any of that is, but like, just hearing that, whether it's true or not, it is sort of irrelevant to me. Kind of all of the mechanisms for the combination code, they click in place for me, like on the locker at school. Just clink, clink, clink. You go, oh, okay. I've been trying to figure out what substance she's constantly whacked out of her mind on. And she started doing that silly laughing again yesterday when she's asked a serious question. All she can do is bring up Trump. And it looked like Anderson Cooper wasn't having it. He was annoyed with her, like we all should be. But anyway, I don't want to spoil any of the clips you have, but
I think she'd be more put together and alert if she was on cocaine, but I don't know what she's on. Yeah, alcohol and Xanax. I have no idea. I don't want to speculate on that stuff. Who knows? Maybe
have to speculate. They're
right.
Look, they are giving us red flag warnings that something is off. Just like Biden was giving us red flag warnings that he was off, that he didn't have his mental capabilities about him. Look, we're supposed to take nonverbal cues and red flags and hints and intuitions. That's exactly what you put into play here. And we're seeing weird stuff out of Kamala. So, yeah, her on this town hall was very weird. And I don't know if you're going to bring up the one she did with Maria Shriver. Geez, that one with the fake. Hey, we're going to take some questions. Oh, I'm sorry. The questions are all pre-selected. You're like, oh, goodness.
Oh yeah, that was a different one. I have another one out of NBC. I don't know who the interviewer is, but that one you're describing was another. It was a phony town hall where nobody was allowed to ask questions that weren't pre-scripted. They go all out to try to protect her, but even then they give her a little leeway, and she can't handle it. She's no good on her feet, and she just stumbles, bumbles, fumbles, and it's interesting to watch, but it's amazing. Yeah, the emperor has no clothes. They tried to prop her up as this next great Democratic superstar, but there's nothing there. So it's amazing what has she been doing these last few years? She doesn't seem like she knows much about what's going on. But yeah, the party looks like it's over. But
before you roll into the next one, let me just add to that. You were saying that she's no good on her feet and the emperor has no clothes. I'm also hearing Diddy allegations with Kamala. Lots of jokes that could have been made with those segues right there, but I'll save that for another day. I'll just hint and allude to a lot of people have been saying today is the day her campaign officially implodes, that something's coming out today, like some high-level rumblings that I don't put any stock into other than, okay, now this isn't the first time I'm hearing this. This is getting around. Whether we want it to happen, so we're talking about it more, or there is actually a rumbling on the train track a few miles down the road. I like there might be a train coming that direction. We shall see. But yeah, it definitely seems like the wheels are coming off of this train.
Right. Yeah, and that is in the stack. I don't know if there's much to it or not. It certainly sounds interesting, but the person that it's coming from is not really a high quality source.
And it's silly season. We're allowed to discuss what other people are discussing. It doesn't mean we're endorsing it. Doesn't mean we believe it. Doesn't mean we want you to believe it. And by the way, never believe anything we say. Go do your own research. I love the people that laugh at those that say, oh, you want to do your own research? Yeah, man. Everybody should question everything with boldness, even the existence of God. Because if
it's a big problem
for a reason, then unfounded fear.
Right. There's a lot of people that have just way too much faith in these old legacy outlets that continue to mislead and manipulate. But they believe it because they think that they're official, but they're really just script readers. So they're just regurgitating propaganda and sticking to talking points. So they get paid a lot of money for a reason. But let's talk about them. It's actually kind of a headline. There's a lot of stuff just in this particular video that I'm about to get on the screen.
Well, Blake puts it on the screen. When Blake gets that on the screen, we'll say, give a watt, quote the electrician to Kenneth. Thanks for joining us today. And everybody else, leave your comments. I love grabbing them and throwing them up on the screen. So does Blake. So please contribute to the show as much as you can, please. We love it. All right, Blake, go ahead.
Okay, well, it's just showing a lot of major liberal pundits and calling that they couldn't spin this. So I think one of the captions I had on here was about Kamala being a double threat. There's a few different things.
That was hilarious. That was a hilarious quote. That guy is I like that CNN guy. What's his name? Scott something? Scott Jennings. There he is.
I'm not too familiar. I don't know if he's like their right-wing punching bag or something.
But no, he doesn't take punches. He delivers them. He sits around nincompoops, but he crushes. He does. He's been doing really well. I should have that guy on this show if he'd ever come on. But I'm a fan.
Oh, okay. Because I thought they usually bring up some like tomato can or something because Fox has the 5. And then usually their one leftist is usually just an unhinged whack job, or at least
this is more similar to like a Peter Ducey. He actually drops fire in the press room. So he's like one of the only sane people that's doing the job in that place. But kudos to CNN for putting him on there. Kudos to CNN for doing this town hall that we'll show some clips too. And it's going to be instantly obvious that Anderson is. I don't know. He has the green light to go after her, which makes it very interesting. So, yeah, I'm a fan of some of the things CNN is doing, shockingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he was that hard on her, but I mean, anyone that's running for president should be able to handle that kind of stuff. If not, then you're disqualified.
Yeah.
And so I think he, indirectly perhaps disqualified her, but it was wild to see all of the who's who of the leftist pundits that just had no answers either. So let's run this clip here, 2.5 minutes. Stop me wherever, Brian.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to...
Hold on a second. I'm always watching stuff in extra speed, so let me slow this down and start over.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city, and she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question: would you be stronger on Israel than Trump. And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
Where have we seen that before? Yes, you ask her a direct question and she just goes in circles and circles and just runs out the clock, and like no one's like, well, was there an answer in there somewhere? Like,
Well,
doesn't
I'm
look
from
like
a
it.
middle-class family.
Right. And she keeps like, yeah, reciting these same little phrases over and over because that's all she has. Those
The
are like her-
wall, like President Trump's wall. Can we talk? Can we
Yeah.
talk about the wall?
Yeah.
Mexico paid for that. He got 2% of that made because we obstructed him and let all of the materials rust. You mean Donald Trump? I'm sorry, what, Kamala? This is a question about something totally different.
Yeah, pretty much. There's your town hall in a nutshell. Yeah,
Sorry, I don't want to
it was
spoil the
wild.
clips, but I watched them once and memorized it because it's just so out there. It's humorous, but it's cringy. It's cringerous. Humoringe.
Inducing. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But here we go. Here's your buddy, right? Scott Jennings. Let's see what he's got to say on this.
She doesn't have to be flawless, but she has to give you something. I mean, she's like a true double threat. You know, she's terrible on her feet when she gets unexpected questions, and simultaneously, she can't even answer the expected questions. It's nothing, nothing, nothing. You'd think she'd be prepared to do this by now. You know, what's a mistake you've made? Nothing. What's a weakness you have? Nothing. What's the first law you want to pass? Nothing. What's a policy difference between you and Joe Biden? Nothing. Over and over and over. Empty, empty, empty. If she were an animal, she'd be a duck-billed platitude.
But look,
It's a total word.
focused a lot more.
Okay.
A duck-billed platitude. Look, like he dropped a lot of awesome points in that little clip, right? Like he's coming with the heat.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely legit. I'm surprised that they have anybody. That was kind of one of the criticisms for these networks for so long, is that they wouldn't bring like another perspective from the right wing. That way they could just kind of control the reality that you saw, or they would bring in somebody who was so weak that they could, you know, easily dismiss what they were saying. But this was pretty good.
Yeah, it's like in the MMA or like in boxing specifically, when you want someone to win, but you like you said, you put the tomato can out there, just go take a beating and collect the payday, let the champ get his cheers from the crowd. But you weren't meant to fight back. You were meant to take some punches. Kenneth saying he's going to vote tomorrow. Blake, there's a conversation about voting early or voting on the day of. I'm still not entirely certain how that works state to state. And I'm also at the point where I think these swing states that are going to try to delay the vote for several weeks should just be disqualified. They should obviously be assumed to be completely rigged. Like if they're going to do this a second term, they need to be just disqualified. I'm going to call that right away. But anyway, Blake, voting tomorrow, voting early or voting day of. Do you think there's a preference? I've seen President Trump encouraging people to vote early, but my initial thing was maybe vote on the day of. I don't know. Any thoughts?
Well, I think either way, they're going to just delay it. So if they're saying it's going to take 10 to 13 days or whatever to count everything, and then I guess it doesn't really matter whether you vote early or the day of, because they're just going to go, oh, okay, well, we know how many ballots came in for Trump, and we need this many for Kamala. And maybe there's not a lot of oversight or chain of custody, and they keep finding, you know, ballots everywhere under the table or in a van in a parking garage at night or what have you. But yeah,
well, it's a good thing the U.S. Postal Workers Union endorsed Kamala Harris in July. It's a great thing that the people delivering ballots has endorsed one of the two candidates. That seems, wow, what's that called? A conflict of interest. Good grief, people.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's continue. We had 6 points. We got the first two. We got number 4 here. I can't remember what it is, but we'll find out.
Focused a lot more on,
Jake Tapper.
on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do as president. But she did go into some of her plans for small businesses.
Well, I'll just tell
Yeah, that's exactly what she has been doing. They've got nothing on policy. It's just spin everything on Trump is bad. Oh, Trump this, Trump that. Well, what have you been doing for the last few years? What are you doing? Like, what kind of ideas? What separates you from Biden? Oh, Trump, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it gets tiring. And Jake Tapper's obviously had enough, and everybody else should too. They're devoid of ideas, except all they want you to do is vote basically against Trump. You're not voting for Kamala, you're voting against Trump.
And let me make this point. Also, it was rumored last week that Joe Rogan was going to have both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on his podcast now. I heard today that Kamala is not doing it, but President Trump is set to record the show tomorrow. Have you heard similar things? And would it surprise you that Kamala is not going to show up on the Rogan podcast, like the biggest opportunity to maybe cross the finish line? But I feel like, well, thoughts on that. And then the second question do you think Rogan could try to sandbag Trump, or do you think he would be really aggressive on Kamala? Because he doesn't like Kamala at all. He's not a big Trump fan either. Yeah,
I think she's kind of damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. She's kind of, this is great for, they should both be doing the Joe Rogan show. That's their biggest opportunity. We're this close to the election. She needs like some kind of a Hail Mary. So why not go on the biggest show? It's not like, I don't think Joe would be like, rude or combative or anything like that. But I just think she's so unnatural. And she's just, right. She's not like a regular human being. She's just weird and robotic and might be drunk and on drugs half the time. She doesn't seem prepared for anything. She's just a total puppet, and it's a puppet show. And for her to sit there for, 2 or 3 hours and have a normal adult conversation about all the different topics and, getting hit with curveballs and things she's not prepared for, she can't do that. So yes, she should go on there because she could appeal to everybody if she had like a normal personality and they could do something with those clips and showcase her as this great leader for our country in the future. But she knows she can't. It's all hollow. And they just can't prop her up for that length of time in an environment they can't control. Whereas Donald Trump could handle himself in any situation. Whether it's friendly, hostile, doesn't matter, throw him curveballs. He'll sit there all day and answer questions. And he's funny, he's charismatic, and they hate him for it. So it's going to be great for Trump, I would think. I don't think Rogan would take the risk of doing anything, but I think Trump could handle anything that gets thrown at him anyway.
Yeah, and that's what you need.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you need out of your president. By the way, hello to Joe and Michael and Victoria and Grizzly watching on Facebook. Quick reminder, if you go to the New American Media on YouTube or the New American Media on X we're at American_media_. You can click play and then you can chat live and we will see it on our screen in the chat section over here, and then we could include it into the show. If any of you want to jump into the show, maybe I could click the button and invite you in to give us a quick comment on whatever it is we're talking about. Make your point and we'll keep going. But there's so many streaming platforms and Facebook is a weird one. So we're trying streaming directly to you 2 different ways, since the streaming software will not connect because Facebook, Meta, Instagram, they do not love the New American Media. They put up things saying, are you sure you want to follow this account? When people go to follow the account, that's your big red flag. That means, yes, you should follow the New American Media because they don't like that we tell you what's happening. They try to fact check, independent fact checkers. I love they put the word independent in front of their fascist fact checkers. It's hilarious. So yeah, follow us in all the places. But if you hit us up on YouTube for now and X at American_media_, you can we can add you into the show immediately. Okay, Blake, number 3, what we learned from the town hall at CNN, Kamala falling on her face.
Yeah, I think it's Dana Bash. Let me see.
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, some people have asked.
That's a very polite way of saying that.
That is such a polite way of saying that, Blake. Can you rewind that at 6 seconds? That's insane how she she shimmered and swayed in the wind with the grace of the beauty of a ballerina to just float within the wind like the feather at the beginning of Forrest Gump, to gently say, Kamala didn't close anything. Oh my God, she did what? This was awful. But she said it very nicely.
Yeah, and people were mad at her last night. The deranged leftists on Twitter are having a full meltdown. Oh, screw CNN, screw Anderson Cooper, blah 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 blah. It's funny though. It's a repeat of 2016 again, which was kind of hilarious watching the snowflakes melt. But here we go, meltdown.
I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in. What? And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more. But what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one. There wasn't one.
Name one. There wasn't.
Yeah, she's not Trump. Trump's a fascist. He's getting more unhinged, whatever, and nothing of substance.
Wow. It's held to a different standard. What, you mean you're not being treated with kid gloves like you're a third grader? Are you supposed to go easy on somebody because of what? Because of what? A DEI checkmark box? Has anybody been harder? Hold on. Has the media been harder on anybody ever, Blake, than Donald Trump? They've been harder on him than any, and it's not just tough. I appreciate, look, I respect tough. I respect fair. I respect honest. I respect holding accountability. I understand if you're going down a path and there's a time to stand firm and go for it. But what they've done to Trump was to frame him, to set him up, to lie about him, to RuPaR segments by selectively editing things out, to then completely take a very straightforward topic completely out of context to try to foment a race war to burn down America. I am sorry, whatever Obama, Biden, Harris, and the Democrat Party have been pushing with their foot soldiers on this country for the past 8 years has got to stop. And there has to be a recalibration of what we're doing in this damned country. So held to a different standard, excuse me. This woman, Kamala Harris, has had 0 votes for her in the primaries of her own party. But she somehow ends up as the VP 8 years ago and the president now. All the Democrats do is rig things and try to shriek about the dangers of Donald Trump ruining our democracy. Well, they're completely putting their fingers on the scales of justice. They're not letting the people of their own party select their representatives, whether it was Bernie Sanders in 2016 or whatever was supposed to happen with RFK Jr. this time. Pissed him off so much he's joined MAGA. Pissed Tulsi Gabbard off, who ended Kamala Harris's career, by the way. Pissed Tulsi Gabbard off so much that she left and joined the Republican Party this week. She joined Trump a couple months ago, joined the Republican Party this week because the Democrats have lost their ever-loving minds. The party deserves to be completely shattered, dismantled, and cast into 1,000 pieces in the corners of the earth. They have earned everything coming to them. And I'm telling you, if the same 7 fraud states, you want to call them swing states, if they pull this stunt where they say, I'm sorry, we can't count our votes today. It's going to take a couple days. It might take a week. It might take a week and a half. Who knows how many overseas votes? No, it's voting day. You count them and it's done. You don't wait to find out how far you're behind and magically produce phantom ballots with phantom names at phantom addresses at 3:00 in the fucking morning. Stand down, Democrats. You do not have the consent of the governed. And we're not tolerating this again. We're not letting you put a puppet up there, a despicable puppet, a completely either blackmailed, bribed, compromised, or completely unkamalified puppet. You're not going to steer our country into the ditch. You're not doing it. Stand down. Sorry, Blake. I had a couple thoughts on the topic. All right.
All right, that's fair enough. All right, we'll see if they comply. I don't know. We're gonna have to continue to fight for this, but here we go. Here's one of those crazed leftists here with Van Jones.
That the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary, but when she's talking,
Yeah, they're not necessary, but she can't help herself. So
What did he say is unnecessary? I missed that part.
the word salads, which is interesting.
The
to
word
know,
salads are unnecessary. Okay.
criticizing it. Yeah, because she doesn't need to. Just answer directly, be authentic, but she doesn't know how. She is totally phony and scripted. It's a wonder how she got as far as she did in life. I don't know.
about trying to get you a house, I believe her.
Okay, so that was his one positive thing is she's going to try to get her house. What, for illegal aliens? Okay, come on. All right, last one.
Kamala Harris participated in a one-person debate last night, and she lost. Okay, she was asked direct questions, and she provided very circular answers. My colleagues Van Jones and David Axelrod and others noted that she provided word salad answers. And Anderson would ask her specifically direct questions, and she didn't provide an answer to them. When asked, Anderson asked the best question all night: "Why didn't you do this 4 years ago? Why haven't you been doing this?" 10-minute answer, didn't answer the question. So what she did last night, I don't think helped her cause at all. I think people were looking for, how are you going to, you heard the one woman, how are you going to make my life better? That wasn't provided. Donald Trump bad is not going to get you to the White House. I hate to break it to her.
Yeah, absolutely right. So she got completely smoked on that panel there. And there's many more. I guess we could, hopefully I'm not going to be repeating a bunch of videos, but I mean, yeah, there's so many different sound.
It happened sometimes. I remember on our Tuesday show, I had played some of the Al Smith Catholic Trump roast, and a couple of those clips overlapped. It's okay if we get a little overlap, but we need to see her and hear her and know why nobody should trust her with anything. And I heard somebody else say yesterday, maybe it was Tucker, and they pick as their second in charge Tim Walz, a guy that you would not let babysit your child. I was like, oh man, that says a lot without saying anything specific. But man, I would not let that guy babysit my kid. That's for sure. I mean, this party is so cracked. I just don't get it.
Yeah, much different than they were 20 years ago. It's a completely different party. Let's check out one of the clips. That's what they just alluded to at the end there about CNN's Cooper asking about why she hasn't done anything already. Let's take a look at this.
Considering you have been in the position of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, how can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you. Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership
It's the exact same shit she told Brett Baer last week
on a number of issues, and
word for word.
Believe that we have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of housing. My experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure crisis when I brought billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know what home ownership means to the American people, not to mention what it meant to my mother, who worked very hard and saved up so that by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. I bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer. And so I know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative, and I have raised children. And so I bring to my priorities and will, as president, a new approach and a new...
Hold on.
That's pretty much the end of it anyway. So
okay, that's the end. Did she say does she have children?
She does not. So apparently with her, she's got like two steps kids or something. I think they were like 15 and 20 or something when she moved in with them, or when she got involved with this creeper Doug, who's got his own issues. But yeah, so she's not a mother. She's not a biological mother. She didn't raise kids. So you're talking about your 15-year-old stepson, like when she's talking about like, making mistakes or what have you. So yeah, something is off there. But let's take a look at this clip. This is her basically regurgitating the same talking points from last week with.
And by the way, I won't bash you for that. I was just curious. I mean, if it's a 15 to 20-year-old, yeah, they're mostly completely raised anyway at that point. But those are developmental years. They're important. I'm not going to take away the importance of jumping in and trying to help. There's a lot of, I mean, probably at this point, sadly, most families are mixed families or broken families or empty families. I mean, geez, the concept of a family staying together throughout two kids going through adulthood, getting to 18 and out, that just seems like a quaint idea of yesteryear. But well, I was just curious. I knew she wasn't a biological mother. I didn't know about Emhoff and the two kids.
Right. Well, that's one of the things she talks about when he asks her if she's made any mistakes, and she talks about being a parent, but she's not a fucking parent. So anyway, let's take a look at this clip from Anderson Cooper calling her out about the 4 years. This is the clip I wanted to. I don't know why they put this one up first, but let's let it roll.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done in the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
Okay. How long do those things take to make happen? And how long will they take to make happen once you assume power?
And if you could play it again, she really has. I heard people say she talks in gypsy curses. She speaks like a Dr. Seuss book. But I mean, let's hear her one more time. She just interchanges words and repeats herself in a slightly different order and says nothing. The definition of using a lot of words to say almost nothing.
The last 4 years.
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
5 times. Okay. 5 times a regurgitation of the same exact thing. People that repeat themselves, it irritate me. Blake, if I've never mentioned, people that repeat themselves definitely irritate me. I don't know if people that repeat themselves irritate you, but people that repeat themselves irritate me.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you how she just cannot handle herself on her feet, and she just keeps going to her comfort zone, which these same little tired phrases that she keeps repeating over and over.
Hey, question of the day for the people in the comments. When people repeat themselves, does that irritate you? Question of the day. When people repeat themselves, does that irritate you? So, by the way, in explaining that, I've just done that 6 or 7 times. I'm trying to prove the point. It's slightly funny. I'll move on. Okay. So, yeah, Kamala, what's taking you so long? Oh, Kamala. 5 times repeating the same exact phrase, saying nothing.
Okay. Well, let's here's an interesting, I think this is like a super cut. It's got a little bit of language in it, but it's okay. It's funking brutal. Here we go. Here, let's pull this one up.
There we go.
Maybe. Or it's going to spin on me.
Wah, wah.
Let's try that again.
Wah, wah.
What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. Perhaps a weakness, I think that my decision-making process, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value. My team will tell you I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires. So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it.
Like, can you rewind when she starts shucking and jiving? When her head does this, about 5 seconds, 8 seconds.
May not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. I mean, I've made many mistakes. You know, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I am, and I think that is very important. Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that, and they range from, you know.
Yeah, that's a great supercut.
That is a nice supercut. Yeah, Blake, let's envision a world where Trump just wins in a massive landslide and there's no debate, there's no back and forth. It's just going to be what we all see in front of us, and it's not going to be questionable. Is that something possible? Can we envision that world where we can get through the next 2 weeks? It's going to be a fair election. Trump wins in a landslide. We're good to go. And we just get to the business of putting our country back together, putting this national nightmare behind us.
Well, yeah, that would be the ideal scenario. So I don't know, for a long time we discussed whether they would even, have an election. Of course, I'm more fearful about cheating happening and no oversight or accountability. And then, of course, if Trump wins, we still have to get to inauguration, and then we have to hope that the leftists don't freak out and burn half the country down.
I think this clip you have here might be the best one.
Okay, well, let's roll it.
This is the most damning, and it's the one I kind of feel like I quoted verbatim. I did a nice recitation of this off the top of my head. I wasn't planning on it, but I think I nailed a few key components of her non-answer here.
Right, and this is something she should be an expert on, being a freaking VP and the border czar, allegedly, and she doesn't seem to know what side of the issue she even stands on.
She stands on the side of the salad bar. She stands next to the salad bar. The word salad
seems
bar.
like it. Yeah, she doesn't know what's going on. It's breathtaking. So let's watch it from Anderson Cooper here.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project.
Look at that face.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't.
Oh my God, Blake, pause.
How much of that wall did he?
Wow, like what is with the heavy eyelids? She's looking like this, which is very interesting. Just body language alone. Instantly talking about Trump's border wall, and that faked laughter followed by an audience not interacting with her at all. Completely zero connection with everybody in that fake town hall. Right, there were people in this audience, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's used to speaking in front of her staffers who are scared of her. She's got a 92% turnover rate. So she's usually having them, laugh at her jokes. So she doesn't.
Or the rallies where they have the same people with the same cell phones going to every single rally that they're bussing around for astroturfed crowd support, right?
Yeah, there's that too. Is sketchy with her audiences, and it's all astroturfed.
All right, so rewind this. Let's hear this answer again. I mean, it's just forced, cringy laugh, followed by no audience participation, interaction, or buy-in, followed by word salad, followed by deflection, followed by no answer.
Alrighty.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't.
Rich, our country
How
is
much of
being
that
flooded
wall
with
did he
people
build?
right now.
I think.
Yes, there's supposed to be a wall. I said it earlier, but you let the steel rust at the border. You're suing the states to open it up to flood more people in. Yeah, Blake, is this really happening, that this woman is trying to lecture us and trying to sway us? Is this real?
In her own head and in the Democratic circles? Yeah, this is the one they chose, and they're stuck with her. This is great though, because she's absolutely crumbling. Even though they're trying to prop her up, they can't anymore.
Border czar Kamala Harris. Border czar. Did she do so well as border czar, screening the people that come in to make sure not a single toxic person comes in to damage the fabric of our community. Did she do such a great job that we should give her a promotion to the most important position in our country? I don't think so, Blake.
No, there's nothing she has done. She was purely I guess one of those, I hate to use that phrase, the DEI hire. This is what the Democrats thought. They would pair Biden up with a woman of color. I get the strategy, but she's an empty suit. She just doesn't have the talent or the charisma for this. They hit her for all this entire time. And then they kind of got stuck with her as Biden, cognitively impaired, full-blown dementia, realized that they couldn't continue to run with him. So they had to put her in there. And now, they stuck with it. But now this is what they have. So they're stuck with it, and it's hilarious. So, but I mean, even they can't even prop her up anymore. Just the paid off influencers, but they're pathetic. I don't think anyone takes them seriously anyway. So let's
paid off influencers. We haven't talked about Lizzo. We haven't talked about Eminem. We haven't talked about Michael Keaton. Ooh, man, it's getting weird out there, folks. I'm sorry. Was there more to this clip? I think there's
there's plenty more to the clip. We have.
Let me shut up. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry. Thanks.
No worries. Here we go.
I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across.
So what side does she stand on? It's amazing. She criticized the wall. It was so stupid. And then, but no, I just signed a bill that we're going to put it up. Like after they let this full festering crisis manifest. And I don't know how many, I get so many different totals, whether it's 8 million, 11 30 million, 20 million. I don't know 30. Exactly how many people that are they've let in the country, and a lot of them with criminal records, these gotaways, and they're incentivizing them all. They're giving them all benefits, and then they make their money in the country, and then they ship it out of the country. So they ship a ton of our money to Ukraine. So stuff will never get back. It's amazing. So she has done a lot of damage, and now it's been exposed. Now she's going to try to do something about it, or so she thinks. She doesn't seem to know what side of the issue she's actually on.
Across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it.
What is she talking about?
And that
she overturned everything about the legal system that was processing the influx of people entering the country. It's a big endeavor. There's a lot of background checks. You got to filter and screen for child trafficking, for convicted sex offenders, for murderers, for bad people, gang affiliations. You do not want any of the bad people coming in. And all that she did with Joe Biden as border czar, Kamala Harris, border czar Kamala Harris, reversed issue after issue, policy after policy that Donald Trump had in effect that was doing a good job at the border. Maybe the best job at the border that's ever been done in the country was completely upended by her. And now she has the gall. Blake, can you rewind it 10 seconds? I think she just tried to tell us that there needs to be a system. The system in place was you're going to sue to tear holes through the razor wire in Texas to let thousands more people who nobody knows who they are, where they're coming from, or what their intention is, to flood in, to go to your border states, aka now that they're busting people everywhere, I guess all states are border states, as they say, the swing states, so that driver's license could be given, so that a profile could be created in the system, and a ballot could be created attached to a license or an identification card of some sort to be created and dropped off in the days or weeks following an election again. That was her plan, and now she's going to try to say that there's supposed to be a plan in place. I'm sorry. Blake, I'm getting a little lightheaded, not really, but sort of. Kenneth is making the joke that it's raised blood pressure as well. I mean, they're really trying to tell us this stuff out of both sides of their mouth. The border wall is stupid, but we're going to do it. Hey, look, we undid everything that Trump did at the border, but yeah, we need a plan that makes sense at the border. You cannot tell us both things. It's binary, a 1 or a 0, a yes or a no.
Yeah, no, I mean, that should be obviously disqualifying right there. Like, everybody should be like, okay, nope. You don't have to like Trump, but you can't possibly think that this woman is better qualified in no universe. So
no universe.
Anyway,
yeah, there's a few more seconds of this, I think.
Alrighty.
Since question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it.
Yeah.
People have to
no shit
earn it. And
Earn
that's
it?
the point.
People have to earn it. I went to the Bronx and talked to these people at the Trump rally. They are furious at you because you've taken non-Americans, put them up in fancy hotels, given them magic credit cards or debit cards that never run out of cash. And there are Americans that are suffering and struggling, you asshole.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it.
The thing that you broke.
Yeah. Because she did nothing about.
Fix the thing. Oh, yeah. Borders are that went down there once for a photo op way away from where the problem was. Didn't
20
see
minutes.
People pass.
Yeah, she went down to the border for 20 minutes. The Border Patrol hates her, and they're warning her, and they have endorsed Trump. Yeah.
They've hinted at
Now
there's going to be mass
finally recognizing the problem.
Yeah. They've said there's going to be hinted at mass resignations at the border. They fully endorse Donald Trump. They hate you. Everybody hates you, Kamala Harris. Everybody hates the fact that you are the puppet of this corrupt regime. You've accepted it gleefully. We know who you're working for, and we know what you're pushing, and we reject it soundly. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious.
All right. Well, we'll continue here.
Why is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Oh, God.
Since when? Since you do not. No, she does not. No, you do not want to strengthen the border. You're part of the Obama global policy to infuse all of the Middle East, Africa into every country everywhere. It's what Obama's been pushing for 20 years. You see it in Sweden, you see it in Norway, you see it in Ireland, you see it in Canada, you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere. This is the plan that you are pushing. Americans want Americans to help Americans. Americans don't want to send our money to be money laundered to Ukraine, to anywhere on the map. We want to help the people here. And you are flooding this country with new people to replace the people that are here. You're doubling small towns with people that they never invited into their community. Look at Springfield, Ohio. They doubled their population or added 50% to their population. Nobody in that community said, I want you to bring 30,000. I want 30,000 Haitians living on my block now. Who said that? This is what she is pushing. This isn't a catastrophe. This isn't an accident. This isn't, it's just part of the natural process, like the ebb and flow of the tides. Migration comes here, migration goes there, migration, it goes everywhere. That's that Dr. Seuss rhyme that she would say, but this isn't an accident. This is her plan. This is her strategy, and Americans don't want any of what they're pushing. And this will be the last election if they're allowed to steal this one. To make no mistake about it, I've never really bought into, oh my gosh, it's the biggest, most important election in the history of mankind. But we are at a crossroads, a dire crossroads. And America is about to be taken completely if they are allowed to cheat and steal their way into 2024. This is the most unqualified, unliked, unrelatable, unconvincing, unkamalified candidate we have ever seen. Meanwhile, Trump is the most popular, beloved. People have figured out all of the lies that the legacy media has been pushing about him, how they've been framing him, how they're trying to end his fucking life. And the people are standing up taller in support of him. I'm telling the deep state another time, you need to stand down. You do not have the consent of the governed here. Oh, Blake, this stuff. Wow. She is so full of it.
Yeah, I hear you. So hopefully that got through and resonated with some of the people that were previously going to vote for her, and maybe they will abstain completely. So
all right, well, maybe they will. We got 2 more stories in the stack here, and we'll let you get going. One is about comparing Trump to somebody, and the other is about a devastating new story. Blake, which one would you like to set us up with?
It doesn't matter. We can surprise me because I don't. Yeah, probably a lightning round here. Yeah, she did another interview with NBC. We're not going to cover this, but it's basically she doesn't know what state she's campaigning in, and she got called out again for her taxpayer-funded sex changes, but she didn't really answer the question again. She won't talk about Biden's cognitive decline. Again,
we play that one. That one is important, actually.
Okay, let's try it again. Here we go.
To the American people about what you saw in those moments with President Biden as you were with him again and again, repeatedly in that time.
Of course. Joe Biden
always
is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
You never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely.
That's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket.
Well, you'd have to.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and she can't be the slightest bit honest about it. That she's just going to keep double downing on this, even though we all know she's full of shit. And so, yeah, you're right. It's the body language and it's the high voice, and she thinks we're all fucking stupid. And we're not her staffers. So she surrounds herself with a bunch of yes people, fires the ones that don't, and now she's lost in her own little self-delusion.
And that's a dangerous place to have a leader. Access to power and control when they're living in a delusional world, man. That is a bad spot. Okay, let her wrap this up because she's set up here. Okay, so Biden's capable and competent. It's like, well, then how did you get here?
Yeah.
Ask him if that's the only reason why.
What do you think?
I am running for president of the United States. Joe Biden is not. And my presidency will be about bringing a new generation of leadership to America that is focused on the work that we need to do to invest in the ambitions and aspirations of the American people.
It's a judgment question. That's why I ask. Can the American people trust you in these moments, even when it's maybe uncomfortable for Americans to level with Americans in that way? So that's why I ask. And it sounds like what you're saying is you feel like you never saw anything like that from President Biden.
I have worked with Joe Biden, hours and hours and hours over these 4 years, whether it be in the Situation Room or the Oval Office.
I'm trying to say yes.
Joe Biden.
No. That's another tell when you're trying to. Yeah, Joe Biden's great, and it's like you're shaking your head no. Do you? I'm sorry. I mean, like this woman isn't even good at being a politician. Like there are nonverbal cues. You really have to kind of watch your own game tape and get kind of coached up on how you're saying things. But looking down, looking off to the side, these are all tells. And when she's like, "Oh yeah, Joe Biden's fine. Joe Biden, he's been great for a long time." Ma'am, you're shaking your head no. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, Joe Biden is fine. Anyway, okay.
Right. Okay.
Well, I don't know if there's more to this one as she wraps up, or just we can move on to the next.
Another 30 seconds. I think we can probably run on. Yeah, it's just the same stuff. She's
the Liz Cheney one was great. with the Liz Cheney part, I think it was DC Drano said,
You've spent a lot of time on the campaign trail with former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, as you referenced. Is she somebody who you would consider putting in the cabinet? Have you talked with her about this topic? I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Yeah, DC Drano called Liz Cheney Timu. Oh, what the hell was it? Oh God, what was it? Timu Hillary Clinton. Okay, shut up, Timu Hillary Clinton. Like I cannot see Liz Cheney as anything other than Timu Hillary Clinton now. I love it. I love it. It's like one of the most perfect, one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen. Like I blurted out laughing for like 15 seconds. Like, she is now Liz Cheney forever, Timu Hillary Clinton. But yeah, she's also like calling out I don't know, comparing Trump to somebody bad, right?
Well, I don't know if it matters, because we have campaign-ending allegation against Trump. Apparently, he groped some lady back in 1993.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that's campaign ending.
Yeah, well, at least they thought it was.
Unsubstantiated allegation from 40 years ago.
Yeah, 30 some years. Yeah,
30. Yeah, 30,
33, 30. Yeah, it's a long time. No, 31. Anyway, it's not going to fly. And she's an activist for Obama. So clearly it's hard to really take her seriously on that. So that didn't fly. So then they're bringing out the comparisons to the Führer. So let's try to watch this clip.
She's channeling angry Hillary.
Yeah.
You go side by side, it's very similar.
Yesterday, we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military.
Yeah, I think people are just questioning the legitimacy of this, or who cares what this John Kelly said. Again, years ago, this is another, I think, a desperate sort of Hail Mary attempt that just, if they can just keep throwing that out there, making those accusations, and, they get the dumbest people on earth to vote for her. Oh, did you hear Trump? He's a felon and he likes, the Führer. It's dumb, but they think it'll work, and they've got nothing left. So it was pretty hilarious. I don't know.
I don't think they think it'll work. I think they're doing everything they can. Do we have a couple more seconds of that from her? Like,
sure.
I think it's so cringe that she's overacting. Let her sell all of this nonsense, because you should hate her for what she's trying to do to the American people. You don't hate her enough.
Loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally. One that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within.
All right, Brian, where are we at? Hour 3. Okay, I've got to run here pretty soon. Well, you can continue going if you want. I don't have much left in the stack. We're gonna have to tighten this up because I got a lot on my plate. But what else do we have? Let's talk about that rumor that's supposedly going to destroy Kamala as if she needed more. But I guess anything helps. But again, we got to question the source of this one, because it's a former Congressman George Santos. He's an interesting character, but he seems to be a pathological liar, and he was had to leave in disgrace. But he did put out some exciting rumors last night. He's got to tell us something. It's so crazy. He just got off the phone with a source, and they're telling me tomorrow, which is today, that the Kamala Harris ship sinks. So let's see if there's a Friday afternoon, like a news dump
And
But,
it's already sunk, by the way. It is already sunk, but I get
yeah, it should be. But I guess anything helps. It would be interesting to see. I was excited to hear new hot rumors and bombshells. But let's see what this is. Man.
Oh, hey guys. Gotta tell you something. It's so crazy. I just got off the phone with a source, and they're telling me that tomorrow the Kamala Harris ship sinks. You're gonna see all the rats jumping off. The story that's gonna break tomorrow is so damning and so bad that Democrats are going to distance themselves from her like something you've never seen before. And essentially, you might even see some asking for people to vote for Trump. This is wild. Stay tuned as this drops tomorrow.
Okay, well,
ear to the train track. Not endorsing it as true, but this is what somebody's saying. Let's see if they can deliver. We heard about a Kraken 4 years ago. Doesn't mean it can be delivered, but we report what people are saying, and you can make up your own mind about it, Blake.
Yep, and there is all other media panic here too. I got Unhinged, Micah, and we got Morning Joe as well. Let's take a look at this clip.
As important as Trump's fascism is, and it
gotta keep throwing up fascism,
is the lead story every day. His cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us.
Killing us? What are you talking?
He is putting us at risk.
What are you
He is
talking
making us afraid to have babies. He is putting our reproductive health at risk, and some women have died already because of this.
That story is grossly misreported, by the way.
Women are dying because of what Trump's particular meddling with the abortion issue. What the fuck is she talking about?
No, there was one story where a woman went in and she got it was bad diagnosis, and then she did days later, and then and then she did die. But then they're just anything they can do to try to pin that on Trump. It's like the way that story was reported was not accurate. Unholy hoax saying the mainstream media makes me want to vomit. Shame on them. Exactly.
Yeah, these people need to be held accountable for the lies that they pushed. And now, they're absolutely freaking out, both Micah and Joe. So let's wrap this up here.
So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots about what Trump has said about Hitler. That's incredibly important to know. But I do understand that people who are busy and that are people who are just tapping in may not be able to comprehend, because we've been free. We've been comfortable. We cannot comprehend that. And I understand that. I validate that it is hard to go from here to there. It is where we're going. I hope we don't find out the hard way. But what's happening with women right now is real, and it is playing out across America.
It's just all fear-based bullshit, trying to scare people into voting against Trump. Also got Jimmy Kimmel here with Micah's other half here, Joe.
Oh, imagine the blackmail on Jimmy. He's been one of the most annoying.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about democracy, you can even look over the past week where Donald Trump's talking about arresting his political opponents.
Yeah.
He tried to pressure Disney because of your jokes.
He believes CBS should have their license revoked.
Because he doesn't like how they edited a 60 Minutes package. How concerned are you about what you do right now may have to change if Donald Trump is reelected?
When?
Well, it won't change. I am not... I'm concerned, certainly. I think that it would be so un-American if he were to come after people who are speaking out against him.
Whether you're talking about democracy, you can even look over the past week where...
Okay, anyway, that's there. More panicking, and of course, assuming they lose in a landslide. It might take days to count ballots so that they can win in the end.
No, I think if states can't get their vote in, they need to be disqualified. Like the other states need to make a pact. Enough of this. You vote on voting day. You call it a day. It's done. You need overseas ballots in. You set the post like they have to be in a week in advance and counted in advance. What are you doing? We're not doing a repeat. We're just not going to do a repeat of 2020. Not happening. The American people are not doing it. Democrats, stand down. You are not going to get away with it this time. Really, lick your wounds and go figure out how to do better, because I don't know what you're doing, but you're not representing the American people, and we're not going along with it. So, wow. Yeah, it's not going to take days to count ballots. That's nonsense. Count them.
All right. Something we get left out is the Michael Keaton clip. That was just weird. I liked the guy, but it just didn't even look like the same guy. And I was like, why are you even making some kind of political statement on this stuff? Just stay out of it. What incentive do you have? And what do you seem to actually know about politics? Nothing. It's like they're all getting their strings pulled. Yeah, Eminem is embarrassing. But I know Elon Musk put out that meme the other day where it showed everybody that was either at Epstein Island or the Diddy parties. They're all coming out to endorse Kamala. I wonder why.
Here's Michael Keaton.
Hey, hi, Michael. For some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who
he's obviously been told this is a hostage video. He needs to talk to the guys, is what this is. Here's the Democrat. We want you to reach out to the guys. Obama, we want you to reach out to the black guys and say they're not black if they're not voting for Kamala because she's Indian or something, whatever they're saying. But the people, man, Obama's remarks about black people needing to vote Democrat, man, those were taken the wrong way. They were taken the right way, actually. People hate it because they should hate what Obama's up to and everything he's been up to for 20 years. But anyway, here's Mike.
Hey, hi, Michael. For some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who
guys, I guess,
are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump.
Is this a threat?
Is he reading a script?
They don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros.
Is this guy our bro?
I'm telling you, when Trump, years ago, I guess, said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me, basically what he's saying in parentheses is, these people are so stupid, they're so dumb, they'd still vote for me. They have no respect for you. Trust me.
Believe me. He's got that weird believe me look on his face. It's haunting to see a guy I like and respect, and he's got that new Beetlejuice movie out, I think, and then to just make some random political statement. Yeah, and they said, looks like a hostage video. Looks like, yeah, you're blackmailed. Hey, Michael, yeah, you want to say a few things about Kamala or against Trump? Make a video on it, or we're gonna release something on you. I don't know. I don't see why he would want to do that.
There's Eminem standing next to Obama. Eminem giving his speech.
Detroit.
And Lizzo said, if the Democrats win, America will be like Detroit.
I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you.
And by the way, I think this is the only thing that Eminem's performed that he didn't write. I don't believe he wrote this at all.
I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me. And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please.
Lame.
I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions.
Blake, it's in Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama's universe where people should be afraid to express their opinions, right? Censored by social media. He's doing the exact opposite, right?
I guess, yeah.
I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known.
Yeah, you mean like take a shot at him in Butler and frame him for crimes? Crimes that aren't crimes, just for political purposes?
I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
Wrong.
And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
Lame, Blake. Lame.
It
Do you
was
like him less because of this? Do you like him less?
I mean, I was never really that big of a fan. There's a few songs I like, and that's about it. Otherwise, I don't really pay much attention to anything he does. I just don't care. I don't dislike him or like him or what have you. It just seems that they must have something on him. Yeah, he probably was at the Diddy parties, and he's got a lot of dirt on him. He's certainly compromised. And I don't like seeing these guys having to go through this stuff, but at the same time, I guess they kind of did it to themselves, and it needs to come out, and just enough with this reality. So,
all right. Well, that's
why they needed celebrity endorsements and called Trump the Führer, and that's all they got.
They're so toast. They are so toast. But we will cover it. We'll be back again on Tuesday.
I think Brian's going to drive the entire show, right? I don't know. We'll see. I got a lot going on, but I will do my best. But yeah, I'm definitely have a monster to-do list and about 50 things I have to do.
Yes.
But I'll see if I got enough on my plate right now. But I'll do my best to try to do a show wherever I can.
We're at the finish line of the election. We are right here. We'll do the best we can. If Blake can, we'll try to have him on Tuesday if possible. Thank you to everybody. Deb from SAC. Hey guys, thanks for joining us late.
Hey, Deb.
After, say hello. Kenneth and Unholy Hoax and everybody else. Thank you, everyone in the room. Justin, Grizzly, Victoria, everyone. Thank you for watching. Blake can be found on X at TV's Blake Walley and on thenextlevelnews.com. And if you would like to support independent journalism, you can do so by finding Blake. He is on Cash App. He's $Blake W99. And if you want to hire him, you just reach out to him on socials because he shoots video, he edits, he directs, he makes all sorts of awesome things happen. But we're going to let him go so he can make his awesome life happen. Blake, any final words, sir?
No, that's it. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, hated Deb to the last minute, but that's all good. We'll have the archive on the Next Level News, and we'll keep putting out content. And yes, I'm busy because I got to relocate in a few weeks or sooner, and I just have a lot going on. So anyway, wish I could stay longer, but I've got to run. We'll continue this later. So thank you all.
All right.
We'll see you next time. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Blake. And yes, like I said, we are going to have that documentary coming out very soon. We're down to like just a handful of a couple little edits, and we'll have that done about the North Carolina trip. Looking forward to it. And thanks to everybody who donated for that excursion. All right. If you want to follow the New American Media, please do so on Rumble. The New American Media is the name of us on Rumble. Go make an account. If you don't have one, it's the new YouTube. It's the better YouTube. YouTube is the Library of Alexandria. I do get that. However, Rumble lets you talk, so that wins at the end of the day. You could find us on YouTube at The New American Media. Please do so. On Spotify, the Agree to Disagree podcast. Please link up, like the show, subscribe, all of that. On X, we're at American_media_. Of course, regarding anything that we talked about on today's show, you can find countervailing views at cisa.gov/rumor control regarding elections, if you want to do that type of thing. Where else? There's YouTube. You can go on Facebook. We got a public group called The New American Media, and we have a private group called TNAMS, The Agree to Disagree Show. So you can find us there. If you would like to contribute to our cause here at The New American Media, you can do so two ways. Go to patreon.com/The New American Media, or go to Venmo at Brian Engelman, BrianEngelman. And all of your contributions mean the world to us. We're going to hit reset, and we're going to be back in about 35 minutes with Ancient Aliens' own Mike Barra. We're going to be doing a show called Strictly Football, powered by the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Yes, I also do a sports show called the Unhappy Hour. Find that in all of the places. Subscribe and like it. But yeah, we're going to break down what we learned last week during the games. And we're going to look ahead to the games this week, starting today, Thursday, for a new batch of games. Deshaun Watson blows out his Achilles, and the Deshaun Watson experiment era might be over. It's pretty incredible. Guaranteed $230 million for 5 years and traded away 3 first-round picks and several other picks. And we've not had great quarterback play, and now he might be done for a year or more. And is he really done in Cleveland? So we're going to talk about that. That was a big storyline. But, of course, Mike is a Seahawks fan, so we're going to talk about his Seahawks and the rest of what's happening in the league, because I love the sport. And sports at its core is it's a celebration of an even playing field, dedication to your craft, hard work, determination, stick-to-itiveness, gumption, intestinal fortitude, quickness, speed, agility, accuracy. It's just sports is everything. It's so great. You know, I wanted the Deshaun Watson era to be over. I wish we had Baker Mayfield. I wasn't rooting for him to have a catastrophic injury that he had. But we'll talk about that. I did our Strictly Browns show earlier, and I elaborate just on the Browns. So go ahead and check that out. That's on the Agree to Disagree show, the Unhappy Hour, on all of the platforms. I got so many platforms and so many titles. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, the Agree to Disagree Show, and the New American Media. Those are the ones you need to keep in mind. All right. Thank you, everybody. Deb is saying football, yuck. Deb, come on. Come on. Kenneth saying headlines. You mean like wrinkles? Right there? No. Come on. Not like that. Deb from Sacramento saying she will rewind to watch. Awesome. Thank you. How are you watching us? Are you on YouTube? Are you on X? What do you watch? Are you on Facebook? Thank you for hanging with Brian. We appreciate you, Deb. You don't like football. Kenneth's like, footsie's okay? All right, now we're talking feet emojis and winking. I don't know what you two are setting up, but count me out of it. What did Dave Coulier say? Cut it out. Can you believe Alanis Morissette wrote You Ought to Know about Dave Coulier? Cut it out. Wow. Anyway, I'm going to bounce out of this one. All right, we'll be back at 5 p.m. Eastern with Strictly Football with Mike Barrett. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.